The girl pressed the brush hard against the stone. The bristles snapped at the edges, leaving thick, black streaks across the pale, jagged surface. She didn't stop to smooth it. She worked fast, blunt, each stroke landing like a hit. A line for the brow, a hollow for the mouth, dark pits where the eyes belonged. She leaned back on her knees, breath sharp. The face stared up at her, uneven but close enough to him, her brother. The barn door creaked behind her. She didn't look. She already knew the weight of the step, the scrape of the boot. "You're at it again." Her father's voice was low, but it carried the kind of silence that meant more than shouting. The girl turned her head, not fast, just enough to meet his eyes. It's him. He looked at the stone. His jaw locked. His face said no before his mouth moved. "Put it down." Her hand tightened on the brush. "I won't." "You will." He stepped closer. "You'll put that thing back where you found it. And you'll wash it clean." The girl shook her head. It's his face. It's paint on a rock. It's him. He stood over her now. His shadow broke across the painted eyes. "You think I don't see what you're doing? You think I don't know what this is?" Her voice sharpened. "You don't want to know." "I know enough." "No, you don't." She set the brush down, pressed her palm flat against the stone as if to protect it. "You don't even say his name." The silence that followed filled the barn like smoke. Her father drew in slow breath. "Names don't bring people back. They keep them from leaving." His mouth tightened. He looked down at the face, the dark streaks turning the stone into something halfway alive. His jaw worked, but no words came. The girl whispered, almost to the stone itself, "He's not gone." Her father's hand twitched at his side. He turned, stepped back toward the door. For a moment it seemed he might leave it there, but he stopped, turned again. "You'll end up cursed, painting dead faces." The girl rose to her feet. "I'd rather be cursed than forget him." The words struck hard. He froze, back stiff, and for a moment his eyes looked wet. But he blinked, and it was gone. He lifted his chin, voice steady again. "You'll stop." She crossed her arms. "Make me." He stared at her. Stone and girl side by side, their defiance twinned. Then he walked out, boots heavy against the floorboards. The door slammed. The girl knelt again, shoulders tight, hand back on the rock. The paint was still wet, shining under the slant of afternoon light. She traced the edge of the cheek, whispering as if he could hear. "They don't want you back. But I do." Her fingers came away, stained, black and red, mixed from an earlier cut. She didn't wipe it clean. She let it mark the stone. Outside, she heard her father's voice carrying across the yard, low, heated, as if he spoke to someone else. The words weren't clear, but the tone was sharp. She turned her ear to the wall, listening. "Enough of this," he muttered. A pause. Then louder. "It ends now." The girl hugged the stone against her chest. The rough edges pressed into her arms, cutting skin, but she held it tighter. Footsteps again. Her father's return. She braced herself. He opened the door. This time his hands were empty, but his face was harder. "You think painting him will keep him close?" he asked. "Yes." "It won't." "It already has." His eyes narrowed. "That boy's gone." Her voice cracked, but stayed sharp. "Then why won't you say it?" He didn't answer. She pushed. "Why can't you say his name?" "Because it's dead weight." "No." She shook her head. "Because you know he didn't just vanish. You know something." His stare broke then. Just a flicker, but enough. The girl stepped closer, stone in her arms, voice rising. "You know." He reached out quick and grabbed the stone from her. She lunged, but he held it above his head, grip white-knuckled. "Give it back." "Stop this." "No." They stood locked, breath hot, words firing. "You're a child. You're a coward." The stone slipped in his hand. For a moment it seemed it might fall, shatter. He steadied it, lowered it back down. His breath came ragged now. He looked at the face, smudged, uneven, half-painted, half-bleeding. Then he set it on the ground slowly, as if it weighed too much. He turned without a word, walked out into the yard again. The girl dropped to her knees, pulled the rock close. Her chest heaved. Her voice broke into a whisper. "I'll keep you here. I don't care what he says. I'll keep you." The paint glistened under the thin strip of light through the door. The eyes seemed to follow her. Outside, her father's voice rose again. Not to her this time. He spoke to someone else in the yard. "You stay away from her," he said. "She's not part of this." The girl pressed her ear closer to the gap in the door. A second voice answered, low, male, steady. She couldn't make out the words, but she felt the weight in them. Her stomach knotted. She clutched the rock tighter. The door slammed again. Silence dropped heavy. She sat in it, breathing slow, eyes on the face she had painted. The strokes were rough, childlike, uneven, but the eyes, dark, hollow, endless, looked back at her as if waiting. She whispered once more, "I'll find you." And the silence answered. The girl stood in the yard, dirt clinging to her knees, the painted rock heavy in her hands. She had carried it from the barn and set it by the porch where the sun struck its crude black eyes. The face looked wrong in daylight, too raw, too sharp, but she kept it there. She wanted it to be seen. Boots scraped on the gravel road. She lifted her head. The sheriff came slow, hat tipped low, dust hanging around his shoulders. He didn't call out, didn't smile. He just walked until he stood at the gate. Her father stepped out of the barn, wiping his hands on a rag. His jaw set when he saw who it was. "You're early," he muttered. "Wasn't planning to wait," the sheriff answered. His eyes slid toward the porch, landing on the rock. His brow twitched. "What's that supposed to be?" The girl crossed her arms. "It's my brother." The sheriff gave her a long look, then shifted back to her father. "You let her do this?" Her father's voice tightened. "She's a child. She's making trouble." The sheriff's boots crunched as he stepped closer. Painting faces on stone, dragging ghosts into daylight. That's disturbing the land. The girl's fists balled. "It's not disturbing, it's remembering." The sheriff's gaze snapped back to her hard. "Mind your tongue, girl," her father cut in. "Leave her out of it. She don't know what she's saying." "She knows enough," the sheriff said. The girl held her ground, chest rising fast. "I know he's not gone." The sheriff's lips curved, not a smile, but close to one. "That's what they all say, right before they start digging where they shouldn't." Her father stepped between them. "You came here for a reason. Say it." The sheriff folded his arms. "Word's been spreading. Folks seen her out there, painting rocks, talking to herself, carrying them around like idols. You think people won't start asking why?" Her father's jaw flexed. "Let them ask." "They'll ask me first," the sheriff shot back. "And you don't want my answer." Silence stretched. The wind moved dust across the yard. The girl spoke again, sharper. "Why are you scared of a rock?" The sheriff turned his head slow, looked down at her like she was smaller than the dirt. "I ain't scared, but I know what happens when children play with the past. They drag it up for the rest of us. That's how fires start." Her father's voice dropped, steady, but edged. "You're not here to talk about paint. You're here to tell me to keep quiet." The sheriff didn't deny it. "Some things are better left under soil." "Like my son?" the girl snapped. Her father spun toward her, voice rough. "Enough." But the words had already landed. The sheriff's eyes darkened. He stared at the girl, then back at the father. "She don't quit," the sheriff said. "She keeps this up. Folks'll think you've been hiding something." The father's voice hardened. "I ain't hiding." "You sure about that?" The sheriff tipped his hat back, revealing the deep lines across his face. "Because when I look at that rock, I see more than a girl's paint. I see someone trying to drag up a story we buried long ago." "You want that out?" The father's shoulders tensed. He said, "Nothing." The girl whispered, barely holding it in. "He deserves to be out." The sheriff turned his gaze on her again. "You're bold. I'll give you that. But bold girls don't last long around here." Her father stepped forward, fists tight. "You done?" The sheriff tilted his head, studied him. "For now." He glanced once more at the painted stone, its eyes glaring back in silence. "But I'll be watching." He turned, boots grinding against gravel, and walked back down the road. Dust rose behind him like smoke. The girl's chest burned. She grabbed the rock, hugged it to her ribs as if it could shield her. Her father stayed still, staring after the sheriff until the figure disappeared over the ridge. She looked up at him, voice shaking. "Why is he afraid?" Her father didn't answer. She pressed. "Why does he care about a painted face?" He turned finally, met her eyes, his own gone dark. "Because faces mean names, and names mean questions. You don't want to know the answers." "Yes, I do." "No, you don't." She clutched the rock tighter, the paint smearing against her dress. "I'll find out anyway." His hand shot out, gripping her shoulder hard. "Don't push this." She didn't flinch. "I already have." For a moment, his grip held, strong enough to bruise. Then it eased. He let go, stepped back, ran his hand over his face like a man trying to wash away something too heavy. The girl set the rock down at her feet, eyes fixed on him. Her voice lowered but stayed sharp. "You know more than you say." He turned away, toward the barn, shoulders hunched. She looked back at the painted eyes staring up from the dirt, unblinking. And she whispered, so only the rock could hear, "I'll make him tell." The house was quiet, but not in peace. It was the kind of quiet that pressed against the walls, making every creak of wood sound louder than it should. The girl sat at the table, her painted rock beside her, black eyes catching the flicker of the oil lamp. Across from her, her mother worked the needle, pulling thread through fabric with sharp, steady tugs. The girl watched the thread bite into cloth. She wanted to speak, but held it, waiting for the right break in the rhythm. Her mother's voice came first, soft, but not weak. "You're stirring things." The girl's head lifted. "He deserves to be stirred." Her mother didn't look up. "The sheriff was here today. I heard him." "I don't care." "You should." "No." The girl's fists closed. "I care about him." Her mother's hand paused mid-stitch. She kept her eyes on the fabric. "We all cared." The girl leaned forward, voice sharp. "Then why don't you say his name?" The needle pushed through again. The thread pulled tight. "Because names hurt. They also keep people alive." Her mother's lips tightened. "Alive in memory, but memory cuts." The girl slammed, her palm against the table. The rock jumped. Why did he never come back? Silence followed. Her mother's hand hovered above the cloth, fingers trembling before she set the needle down. She finally looked up, her eyes shadowed by the lamplight. "Because men made it so." The girl's breath caught. "What men?" Her mother's gaze drifted toward the window, though the curtains were drawn. The kind that hold power, the kind that decide who stays and who vanishes. Her voice was steady, but her eyes shone wet. The girl whispered, pushing harder, "The sheriff." Her mother didn't answer quick. The pause said enough. The girl pressed again. "The governor." Her mother's jaw tightened. "Don't speak his name in this house." "Why not?" "Because walls have ears." The girl's chest burned. She looked at the rock, her brother's eyes painted dark. "I don't care if walls hear. I want the truth." Her mother leaned close now, voice a whisper that cut sharper than a shout. "Truth in this place gets women buried alongside their sons." The girl swallowed hard but didn't back down. "So you'll just keep sewing? Pretend it never happened?" Her mother's eyes flashed. "You think sewing is silence? These stitches hold the only things I have left. They're not just cloth. They're memory stitched into something that won't burn as fast as paper." The girl stared at the moving hands, the thread pulling like veins across the fabric. "Then tell me what you won't say." Her mother's breath shuddered. She set the cloth aside, folded it slow, deliberate. Then she met her daughter's stare head-on. "He didn't vanish. He was taken." The words cracked the air. The girl's throat tightened. "By who?" Her mother's voice dropped low, almost swallowed by the lamp's hiss. "By those who wanted him quiet. He saw too much, said too much. Men like the sheriff don't forget that." The girl clutched the rock against her chest. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because you were small, because silence was safer." "But you're telling me now." Her mother nodded, slow. "Because I see you won't stop. You'll keep painting, keep asking, until they notice. And when they notice, it'll be too late." The girl's voice was sharp again. "Then help me." Her mother's eyes glistened, but her mouth stayed firm. "Help you and lose you too? You'll lose me if you keep quiet." Her mother turned her face away, hand pressed against her lips. Her shoulders trembled, but no tears fell. The girl didn't look away. She set the rock back on the table, pushed it between them. "Look at him." Her mother's eyes slid back. For a moment, she did look. Her hand reached out, stopped just short of touching the paint. She whispered, voice breaking, "That face don't belong on stone. It belongs in the ground." The girl shook her head. "It belongs here, with us, until we know." Her mother finally touched the rock, fingers brushing the rough paint. She closed her eyes, drew in a long breath. When she opened them, they were harder. "You don't understand the weight of this." Then show me. Her mother pulled her hand back, stood, moved to the cupboard. She opened a drawer, slid out a folded scrap of paper yellowed at the edges. She laid it on the table. The girl's eyes widened. What is it? Her mother's voice trembled, but the words came. A letter. He wrote it before he disappeared. They never meant for me to keep it. The girl reached for it, but her mother's hand pressed down on the paper. Not yet, she said. Not tonight. Why? Because once you read it, you can't unknow, and once you know, they'll see it in your eyes. I don't care. Her mother's stare hardened. You will. The girl's throat ached. She pulled the rock close again. I'll carry him either way. Her mother closed the drawer with a sharp snap, sliding the letter back inside. She turned back to the table, voice low but fierce. Women don't forget. Even when men burn the names, bury the bones, lock the words away, we don't forget. But remembering is a curse, and curses spread. You need to know what you're asking for. The girl held her mother's gaze, unflinching. I want the curse. The oil lamp hissed louder, the shadows on the wall seeming to crawl. Her mother sank back into her chair, picked up the needle again. Her hands shook as she stitched, thread jerking rough through the cloth. She whispered, eyes fixed on her work. Then, may God help you. The girl said nothing more. She just pressed her palm flat against the painted face on the stone, feeling the rough edges bite into her skin as if he were answering back. The oil lamp's hiss still clung to the girl's ears as she rose from the table. Her palm stayed on the painted rock until it bit her skin. Her mother didn't look up from the cloth. You're set on this. I am. Then get your shoes, the mother said. If you're going to carry him where names are supposed to live. The girl stood. The churchyard, now. The lamp went out. The house held its breath. They moved for the door. The yard smelled like dust and old hay. The girl hugged the rock and followed her mother down the narrow path. He won't like this. Your father never likes anything that looks back, the mother said. Keep walking. The churchyard gate waited with cold iron teeth. The girl touched it and felt the chill run to her elbow. Why here? Because the ground remembers, the mother said. Even when the markers don't. They stepped between stones. Some had names carved deep. Some had names half-eaten by time. Then came the row with no words at all. Rough slate, tilted, blank. The girl stopped. The wind seemed to stall with her. Who lies here? People the old families didn't want spoken, the mother said. Men who crossed lines. Women who wouldn't bow. Boys who asked the wrong questions. The girl swallowed. My brother. I don't know, the mother said. But if there's a truth worth hearing, it sits close to this ground. The girl knelt and set her rock against a blank stone. The painted eyes faced the row like a witness. A slow step scraped behind them. A woman in a dark shawl came up with her shoulders bent and her eyes bright in a way that didn't look kind. She spat in the dirt. Old families bury more than their own. The girl looked up. What do you mean? The woman's mouth twitched like she'd tasted iron. When rich hands lift shovels, they don't always fill graves. Sometimes they bury questions. The mother watched the blank slates. You saw something. I see what's missing, the woman said. Missing is loud enough. The girl laid her fingers on a smooth edge. Why no names? Because a name is a hook, the woman said. Hooks pull truth out of the dark. Men in charge don't like hooks. The girl pointed near the fence where the earth dipped. In that place. Don't step there, the woman said. Ground sinks where secrets rot. She peered at the girl's arms. You paint faces? Yes. Whose? My brother. The woman nodded once. Good. Make more. Make them see. Careful, the mother said, the word thin and tight. The woman shrugged. Careful keeps the mouth shut and the ground busy. She nodded at the rock. Let him watch. The girl looked around. Every stone carried a shadow that felt like eyes. Her stomach turned. She didn't look away. It feels like he's here. Maybe he is, the woman said. Maybe they all are. The mother pressed the girl's shoulder. Ask what you came to ask. The girl faced the woman. Did the sheriff put someone here? The woman's gaze didn't blink. That badge is a door. Sometimes it opens. Mostly it shuts. And the governor? The girl asked, voice sharper. The woman spat again. Big house, clean hands, dirt under every step. The mother said, Names bring heat. The woman lifted her chin. Heat's already here. Your girl dragged it by the hair. She tapped 3 blanks with her knuckles. These turned up the same week. No markers. No words. When? The girl asked. The season your brother left and didn't return, the woman said. Fences were mended for days. Roads were washed and washed again. Folks called it rain. I called it scrubbing. Wind moved through the grass, dry as a whisper. The girl bent over her rock. If you can hear, listen, she said. What are you doing? Her mother asked. Asking. She pressed her ear to the cold paint. For a moment, she heard only her own blood. Then something low tugged under the soil, a soft pull like breath that wasn't air. She jerked up. Something's below. The woman held her stare. You feel it. I do. The mother's mouth thinned. This place eats daughters. A lantern bobbed at the gate. The girl's father stepped in, breath rough, face pale. What are you doing out here? The girl stood, dirt on her knees. Looking. You'll stop. No. He took in the blank row. A swear slid through his teeth. Go home. The mother stepped between them. She needs to see. She needs to live, he said. His eyes cut to the woman. You keep away from us. The woman didn't move. Tell her the truth, man. There's no truth, he said. There's only trouble. Did you bring him here? The girl asked. His mouth opened, shut, opened again. No. Do you know who did? No, he said, too quick. Who told you to keep quiet? The mother asked, voice steady. He looked at the fence instead of them. This ground doesn't want us. The woman gave a short laugh without warmth. Ground doesn't care. Men do. His gaze dropped to the rock. Take that thing home. It stays, the girl said. He almost kicked it, then froze when the painted eyes stared up through the lantern light. His foot eased back. Gravel crunched on the road. A long shadow crossed the stones before the body that cast it. Evening, the sheriff said. The girl's spine went hard. Evening, the mother answered. The sheriff looked down the blank row. You all lost. The woman snorted. We know exactly where we are. His gaze slid to the painted rock. That again. We're leaving, the father said. The sheriff held him with a stare like a nail. See that you do. The girl didn't step. What's under these blanks? He didn't look at her. Dirt. What did you bury? She said. Rain and old wood, he said. Things that sink. Say the boy's name, the woman said fast. The sheriff ignored her. He stepped close to the girl and lowered his voice. You're making a mess. Good, she said. Mess shows what's stuck. His jaw twitched. You want to end like these? I want answers. He cut his eyes to the father. Get her home. The father took a step, then another. The girl didn't move. The mother reached for her hand. We'll come back. I'm not done, the girl whispered. The sheriff turned and walked a slow circle through the blanks. His boot pressed a soft patch. The earth gave under his weight. He paused for a heartbeat, then moved on like nothing happened. The woman saw it. She leaned to the girl. There. The girl's heart rattled. She crouched and set her rock on that soft place. The painted eyes aimed straight down. Stay, she told it. Guard him. The mother squeezed her fingers. We will. They walked to the gate because the sheriff watched. The father kept his eyes on the road and carried shame like a sack. At the fence, the girl looked back. The rock sat on the soft earth, black eyes bright in thin light, steady as a held breath. The woman stayed by the blanks, head bent, lips moving like something between prayer and curse. Hold him, the girl whispered. Tomorrow, the mother said. The girl nodded once. Grief and heat moved in her chest. They stepped onto the road and left the gate half open so the night could listen. The road back from the churchyard felt heavy. The girl kept looking over her shoulder at the half-open gate. Her chest burned. We can't just leave him there. Her mother gripped her wrist. We left him watching. That's enough. It's not, the girl said. I need him with me. The father walked ahead, pretending not to hear. The girl pulled free and ran back. Her mother hissed after her, but didn't follow. At the row of blank stones, the painted rock sat on the soft patch of earth, black eyes fixed down. She knelt, whispered, Come with me. She lifted it into her arms, the weight sharper now, the edges cutting through her dress. She pressed it to her chest. I won't leave you. When she rejoined, her mother's mouth was tight, but she didn't take it away. The father muttered, "Fool girl," but his voice shook. At the fork in the road, the mother stopped. "There's a gathering tonight, at the governor's estate." The father snapped, "We're not going there." The mother's eyes held his. "We are." The girl asked, "Why?" "Because where laughter is loudest," her mother said. "Truth leaks through cracks." The father shook his head. "That house will swallow you." "Then we'll walk quiet," the mother said. They reached the estate as night spread across the fields. Lamps lined the drive, warm against the dark. Voices spilled from the open hall, laughter sharpened by wine. The mother pulled the girl's arm. "Keep close." Inside, the air was thick with roast and smoke. Men in dark coats sat around the long table. Their wives leaned near, whispering behind painted smiles. The governor sat at the head, broad and polished, his teeth bright under the lamplight. The mother kept to the wall. The girl hugged the rock to her ribs. "Don't show it," the mother whispered. But the girl didn't hide it. She wanted it seen. At the table, the governor raised his glass. "To peace in our county." Laughter rose with him, brittle but loud. The sheriff sat 2 seats down, jaw stiff. He caught sight of the girl in the shadows. His eyes narrowed, but he said nothing. The governor's gaze followed the sheriff's. It landed on the girl. He smiled, wide and smooth. "Evening," he called across the hall. The mother dipped her head, moving to turn away, but the governor lifted a hand. "No, stay. Guests are welcome." The girl stepped forward before her. Mother could stop her. The rock pressed heavy against her arms. The governor's eyes flicked down, casual at first, then stopped. He saw the painted face. For a heartbeat, his smile held. Then it faltered, just enough for the girl to notice. The line of his jaw tightened. He cleared his throat, lifted his glass again. "What's that you've got there, little one?" The girl answered loud enough for the table. "My brother." The hall hushed. Forks stilled. The sheriff's hand gripped his knife. The governor laughed, but it was thin. "Children and their games." "It's not a game," the girl said. "It's his face." Her mother pulled at her sleeve, whispering, "Enough." The girl yanked free. "You know him, don't you?" The governor's smile returned, forced now. "I know many boys, farmers' sons, workers' sons. They come and go." "They don't just go," the girl said. "They're sent." The sheriff spoke, voice low. "That's enough." The governor lifted a hand to quiet him, eyes still locked on the girl. "Your father should teach you manners." Her father finally stepped forward from the shadows. "She learns what she wants." The governor's smile grew sharper. "Then she'll learn the cost." The girl held the rock higher, the painted eyes catching lamplight. "He's watching." Something flickered across the governor's face, quick as a shadow. The mother saw it too. Her breath caught. The governor leaned back in his chair, clapping once. "Music," he ordered. Fiddles started up from the corner, rough and hurried. Laughter forced itself back into the room, though thinner than before. The girl's voice cut through it. "Say his name." The governor looked at her long, then at the rock. His glass trembled in his hand before he set it down. "Names fade," he said. The girl's heart pounded. "Not if we keep them." The sheriff slammed his fist against the table. "Get her out." The governor waved it off, still smiling, though his eyes had gone dark. No harm in a girl's toy. Let her play. But he didn't look at her again. His gaze stayed on his plate, as if the painted eyes burned holes through him. The mother grabbed her daughter's arm. "We're leaving." The girl pulled once more, whispering so only he could hear. "He remembers." The governor's hand froze around his fork. The smile stayed, but his knuckles went white. The mother dragged her out into the night. The father followed, face pale. At the edge of the estate, the girl looked back. Through the open door, she saw the governor still seated, still smiling, but not at anyone. His eyes were fixed on nothing, as if the painted rock still sat in front of him. She whispered to herself, "He knows." And the rock in her arms seemed to grow heavier, as if agreeing. The road away from the governor's house stretched dark and empty. The girl kept the rock pressed tight against her ribs. Its painted eyes seemed heavier now, dragging her arms down. Her mother walked beside her, silent, face pale in the moonlight. Her father lagged behind, muttering under his breath, his steps uneven. When the estate lights finally disappeared behind the trees, the girl stopped. She looked to the side where the old path cut through weeds. Her mother caught her sleeve. "Not tonight." The girl pulled free. "I have to." Her mother's lips parted, but no words came. She only shook her head once. The girl stepped into the path, the weeds brushing her legs, the rock firm in her arms. The abandoned well waited in the clearing, a circle of stone half sunk into the earth. The wooden cover lay broken to the side, rotted and warped. She had been told since she was small never to come here. Too deep, too old, too cursed. But the warnings only made her chest pull harder toward it now. She stood at the rim, peering into the dark throat. She picked up a pebble, rubbed it in her palm. Her breath slowed. She let it drop. It fell long, longer than she expected, then struck water with a hollow sound. A moment later, something rose back. Not words, not echo. A breath. Slow, wet, close. The girl jerked back, clutching the painted rock. Her heart thudded against it. "Did you hear?" she whispered, but only the trees answered. She leaned closer, voice trembling. "Is that you?" The breath came again, softer this time, like it brushed her ear. She pressed the rock against her chest, harder, the paint smearing into her dress. A step crunched behind her. She spun. Her father stood at the edge of the clearing, face shadowed. "What are you doing?" She pointed at the well. "There's something down there." His eyes flared, then dropped to the rock. "It's nothing. It's him." He moved closer, voice sharp. "It's water and air, that's all." "No," she said, shaking her head. "It's him." He stepped right up to the rim, leaned over, dropped his own pebble. The same hollow splash, the same low breath curling back. He stiffened, but didn't show fear. "You see?" he said flatly. "Just echo." "That's not echo," she whispered. "Forget it." "I can't." "You will." The girl hugged the rock tighter. "I won't." His jaw locked. He grabbed her arm, yanking her from the well. "You're going to stop this madness." She twisted free. "Why are you afraid?" "I'm not." "Yes, you are." His mouth opened, but no words came. He turned from her, rubbing his face with his hand. Her mother stepped into the clearing then, lantern in hand. "What did you hear?" The girl's voice wavered. Breath. Her mother's eyes darted to the well, then back to her. "How many times?" "Twice." Her mother set the lantern down, crouched beside the girl, touched her cheek. "It's a warning." The father barked. "It's nonsense." The mother stood, eyes hard on him. "You heard it too." He didn't answer. His silence said enough. The girl stepped back to the rim, ignoring both of them. She whispered into the throat, "Do you want me to find you?" The breath that came up was longer now, drawn out, almost a sigh. She closed her eyes, felt it run along her skin. Her father yanked her back again. "Enough!" the girl screamed. "Stop trying to bury him." The clearing fell silent except for her ragged breath. Her mother lifted the lantern, its light catching the stone's painted face. The eyes glistened. For a moment, they seemed alive. The mother whispered, "He's asking." The father snarled, "He's gone." The girl pressed the rock close. "Number, he's waiting." Her mother turned the lantern toward the path. "We leave." The father's voice cracked. "This ends." But the girl didn't move. She crouched again, whispering into the dark, "I'll come back." The breath answered, faint but real, as if promising. Her father swore under his breath and stormed down the path. Her mother stayed, eyes fixed on the well. She whispered, too soft for the father to hear, "Don't let them take her." The girl pulled at her sleeve. "What did you mean?" "Nothing." "Yes, you did." Her mother's eyes met hers, wet, fierce. "Then promise me. Promise you'll be careful." "I can't promise," the girl said. "Not if he's down there." Her mother's hands trembled around the lantern. "Then may the well keep you." The girl looked one last time into the black throat. The breath had gone quiet. The air hung heavy. She clutched the rock to her chest. "We'll be back," she whispered. The wind moved through the clearing. The well said nothing more. They left, lantern light bobbing through the dark. The girl glancing back at the circle of stone until it disappeared in the trees. The night after the well, smoke curled from the yard. The girl woke to the crackle of fire and the sharp sting of paper burning. She rushed to the window. Her father stood over a barrel, feeding letters into the flames. His face was hard, set against the glow. She grabbed her rock, ran barefoot down the stairs. The screen door slammed behind her. "Stop!" He didn't turn. Another envelope hissed as it curled black in the heat. "What are you doing?" she shouted. "Cleaning," he said. "You're lying." He shoved another letter in. "Some things aren't meant to live." The girl charged forward, clawing at his arm. They were his. He jerked her back. They were trouble. They were truth. He gripped her shoulders hard. They were weight. She thrashed against him, fists striking his chest. You're killing him again. Enough. His voice ripped the air. No. Her scream tore out raw. She kicked, swung, grabbed for the letters stacked on the ground. He caught her wrist, twisted it. You'll let go. She spat through her teeth. I won't. Her mother ran out from the house, robe loose, face pale. Stop this. The girl broke free, lunged for the pile, clutched the top letter to her chest. Her father seized it back and tossed it into the fire. She screamed, lunged into the smoke, but the flames devoured it quick. She coughed, eyes burning. You bastard, she choked. His hand cracked across her cheek, sharp. The world rang. The mother screamed, no, and shoved between them. Don't touch her like that. The father's chest heaved. His hand trembled in the air, then dropped. The girl staggered back, holding her painted stone like a shield. Her voice broke but cut sharp. You know what they did. You're helping them hide it. His jaw clenched. You don't understand. Then tell me. You're a child. I'm his sister. He shut his eyes, face tightening like he could crush the words before they escaped. The mother's voice was low, trembling. You should let her know. He spun on her. You think that'll save her? You think that'll save any of us? The girl stepped forward, eyes wet but steady. It'll save him. Her father's shoulders sagged. He's gone. She lifted the rock high, the painted eyes glaring in the firelight. Not to me. Silence fell, heavy, broken only by the hiss of paper, turning to ash. She pressed the rock to her chest. Her breath came hard. I swear I'll find out. I swear I'll speak his name till it breaks you all. Her mother whispered, hush. The girl shook her head. Her voice rose, sharp against the night. I swear it to him. She held the rock out toward the flames. The painted face caught the light, shadows flickering across its eyes. For a heartbeat, it looked alive. The father turned away, his body sagging as if struck. You'll ruin us, he muttered. You already did, she said. Her mother pulled the girl close, whispering in her ear, Don't let go. The father tossed the last bundle into the fire. The smoke rose thick, swallowing the stars. He stood there, head bowed, as if the flames were eating more than paper. The girl buried her face against the stone, whispering through her teeth, I won't stop. I'll tear every secret out of the dirt. Her mother's arms trembled around her. The fire roared higher, sparks chasing into the dark. The father didn't move. The girl's vow cut through the night, sharp enough to wound. I'll uncover what you all did, and you'll hear me. The silence after was deeper than before, broken only by the crack of burning truth. The fire in the yard had burned low, leaving only red embers and black ash scattered at the bottom of the barrel. The girl sat on the porch steps with the painted rock in her lap, her cheeks still hot where her father had struck her. Her mother stayed close, sewing in silence, though her hands trembled every time the needle pulled through. The crunch of boots came from the road. Slow, heavy, measured. The girl lifted her head. The sheriff stepped into the yard. The lantern light caught the glint on his chest, the badge, polished and sharp. Her father rose quick, voice rough. We don't need visitors. The sheriff's gaze went past him, straight to the girl. Sometimes visitors don't wait to be wanted. Her mother set the sewing aside, stood halfway between them. What do you want? The sheriff stopped at the porch. He tilted his head, the faintest smile. I heard shouting last night, carried farther than you think. Thought I'd see what the fuss was. The girl's eyes burned. You heard fire eating paper. The sheriff's smile didn't break. That's so. Her father's shoulders tightened. It was nothing. The sheriff took one slow step closer. Nothing don't scream loud enough for half the town to notice. The girl clutched her rock tighter. You knew what he burned. The sheriff's smile faded. And what do you think that was, girl? Letters. From who? My brother. The sheriff crouched then, eye level with her, the badge glinting just inches from her face. You sure about that? Her mother pulled her back. Leave her be. The sheriff's hand rose, slow, deliberate. He pressed the badge against the girl's shoulder, not hard, but steady. The metal was cold. This mark means order, he said. It means silence when silence is needed. The girl stared at him, jaw set. She didn't flinch. The sheriff leaned in. You know what happens to girls who fight? She met his eyes. They win. His mouth tightened, the badge pressed harder. Her mother's hand shot out, yanking her back. "Stop, please." The sheriff straightened, looking down at them both. His voice was flat. "They don't forgive girls who fight." The girl's mother held her close, whispering fast, fierce, into her ear. "Don't push him. Not now." The girl's throat ached, but her eyes didn't leave his. The sheriff finally lowered his hand. "You've stirred enough. One more word, one more rock, one more whisper in town, and you'll regret it." Her father stepped forward, fists tight. "Get off my land." The sheriff looked at him, unimpressed. "This land ain't yours. It belongs to the ones who keep order. Remember that." He turned slow and started back toward the road, but halfway there he stopped. His voice carried sharp across the yard. "That face you paint, girl, it won't save him. It'll bury you." The girl shouted back, "At least I'll be buried with truth." The sheriff didn't turn. He walked on, boots fading into the night. The yard fell silent again. The girl trembled, clutching her stone. Her mother gripped her shoulders. "Listen to me. Don't test him again." The girl shook her head, tears streaking her cheek. "I already swore." Her mother's voice broke. "Then you've chained yourself." Her father slammed his fist against the porch rail. "She's going to drag us all down." The girl stood, clutching the rock high. "Number, I'm dragging him back up." The painted eyes gleamed in the faint glow of the dying fire. Her vow hung heavier now, sharp against the silence the sheriff left behind. The morning came gray and heavy. The girl stepped out into the yard, her painted stone pressed against her ribs. The ashes in the barrel were cold now, but the smell still clung in the air. She walked past them without stopping. Her eyes went straight to the line of rocks she had left by the fence, each one bearing a rough face, each one her brother's shadow. Something was wrong. The paint had run. The eyes she had drawn looked smeared, dripping dark lines down pale stone, as if they had wept in the night. She froze, scanning the sky. No clouds, no sign of rain. The dirt under her feet was dry. Her chest tightened. She dropped to her knees, touched one. The smear came away on her fingers, wet, fresh. She whispered, "Who touched you?" The house door creaked behind her. Her mother stepped out, shawl tight around her shoulders. "What is it?" "They're different," the girl said. "Someone was here." Her mother knelt, touched a stone herself, rubbed her fingers together, her brow furrowed. "It's paint. It's too wet." The mother's lips thinned. "Then it's a trick." The girl shook her head. "Number, they're bleeding." The mother drew back sharp, crossing herself quick. "Don't say that." The girl reached for another, a cracked one. The jagged edge sliced her palm. Blood welled bright. She hissed, clutching it. The drops smeared across the painted cheek of the stone. The face looked alive for one breath, red mixed with black, the eyes gleaming. Her heart pounded. "Did you see that?" Her mother's voice shook. "See what?" "It moved." "No." "Yes." Her mother grabbed her wrist, pulled her hand away. "You're hurt." "It blinked." "It didn't." "It did." Her mother tore a strip from her shawl, bound the cut. "Stop looking at it." The girl leaned close again, ignoring the sting. The paint and blood mingled, thick, wet. The stone's eyes seemed to shift under her stare, not with paint, not with smear, but with something behind them. Her breath quickened. "He's in there." Her mother pulled her back hard. "He's gone." The girl snapped, "You're lying!" The mother's voice broke. "I'm saving you." The girl clutched her stone, pressing her wounded hand to it despite the pain. "Then let me save him." The mother trembled, words spilling soft. "Don't make the dead walk with you. They'll never let you rest." The girl's voice cut sharp. "I don't want rest." The father's boots struck the porch. He came down the steps fast, eyes already hard. "What now?" The mother stood. "It's the rocks." The father looked down, saw the smeared faces, the cracks. His jaw tightened. "Enough of this." The girl lifted her bleeding hand. "They're alive." "They're paint," he snapped. "They blinked." He grabbed her wrist, ripped the stone from her grip, tossed it against the fence. It hit and split, paint and blood streaking the dirt. The girl screamed. "No!" She lunged, scrambling on her knees, clutching the broken halves. Her breath came ragged. "Don't touch them again." The father loomed over her. "I'll break every last one if it keeps you from going mad." Her eyes burned. "Then I'll paint more." His face twisted. "You'll stop." She shook her head, clutching the halves like bone. I'll never stop. The mother's voice shook as she stepped between them. Leave her. Let her carry what she must. The father glared at her. You want her cursed? The mother whispered. She already is. The girl rocked on her knees, blood dripping onto the stones. She whispered low, fierce, to the cracked eyes. I'll hold you. I'll bring you back. They can't break you. Not while I remember. The father turned away, swore under his breath, stalked back to the porch. The mother stayed, watching the girl, her face caught between fear and pride. The girl lifted one broken half high, voice rising. I swear you'll live in me. I swear I'll find what was done. For a moment the painted eye on the stone gleamed. The smear shifted like a lid closing, opening again. A blink. Her breath caught. She froze, staring. Her mother's face drained pale. What did you see? The girl's voice shook. Proof. The mother whispered, trembling. Then God help us all. The wind moved through the yard, rattling the fence. The other stones sat silent, smeared faces streaked dark, as if they had watched and waited. The girl pressed the halves of her broken rock together, holding them like a beating heart. Her wound stung, blood still running, but she didn't let go. Her voice cut the silence one last time. I saw him, and the air seemed to listen. The girl woke to the smell of smoke before the shouts reached her. She grabbed her painted stone and ran barefoot out the door. The sky above the yard was red, pulsing. The barn was burning. Flames tore through the wood fast, climbing high, throwing sparks into the night. Her father was already there, swinging a bucket, shouting at neighbors who had rushed in. Water! More water! Men ran back and forth from the trough, but the fire ate quicker than they could throw. The roof cracked, timbers falling inside. The girl screamed, Stop it! Her mother caught her arm. Stay back. They're killing it, the girl cried. The mother shook her head. It's already gone. The girl clutched the stone to her chest, eyes wide on the flames. It's a warning. Her father turned, sweat on his face, soot streaking his shirt. Shut your mouth. Neighbors threw water that hissed useless against the blaze. One man shouted, Lantern must have tipped. Another answered, or hay too dry. They all spoke of accident, careless spark. The girl shook her head hard. No accident. Someone lit it. Her father slammed his fist into the barn wall, wood splintering under the blow. Shut up, the girl shouted back. It's them. The sheriff, the governor. They don't want us remembering. The father roared, slamming the wall again until blood smeared his knuckles. Stop saying their names. The mother pulled the girl back from the edge. Quiet now. No, the girl hissed. I'll keep saying it. They burned his letters, now they burn his place. What's next? The roof collapsed inward with a thunder that shook the ground. Embers shot into the air, raining down across the yard. Men backed off, faces pale in the red glow. The father staggered back, chest heaving, fists clenched. His eyes fixed on the blaze, but saw something deeper. His jaw worked, no words coming. The girl stepped forward again, lifting her stone high. The painted eyes reflected firelight, alive. It's a warning, she shouted to them all. They're telling us to forget. The neighbors looked at her, some muttering, some shaking their heads. One spat in the dirt. Crazy talk, just fire. The mother's voice cut through. They're burning memory out of us. Silence followed. Even the neighbors froze, hearing her speak the words they all felt but would never dare say. The girl looked up at her mother, breath sharp. You believe me? The mother's eyes stayed on the barn. I see what they want gone. The father turned on her. Don't. She faced him. Don't what? Don't speak truth. Don't say what's plain. His chest heaved. You'll damn us all. She stepped closer, voice low but strong. We're damned already. The girl's heart pounded. She held the rock tighter, her wounded palm leaving streaks across it. He's not gone, she whispered. Her father spun on her, voice shaking with fury. He is. He's ash like this barn. And if you keep digging, you'll join him. Her mother pulled the girl close, shielding her with her arms. No, she said. She'll outlive this. The barn groaned one last time, then fell in on itself, fire roaring so loud it drowned out every breath. Men stood helpless, water forgotten, watching the blaze consume the last of it. When the flames settled to coals, the neighbors drifted back to their homes, muttering of bad luck and accidents. The yard grew quiet except for the crackle of dying wood. The father stayed, shoulders hunched, fists raw. He struck the wall post one more time, a hollow thud, then leaned his head against it. His voice cracked, broken. "Why won't it end?" the girl whispered from her mother's arms. "Because you keep hiding." He turned, eyes wild, face streaked with soot. "What do you know?" "I know they fear me remembering," she said. "That's why they burn." He stumbled toward her, stopped short, fists trembling at his sides. His eyes flicked to the rock she held, the painted face glimmering with soot and blood. His mouth opened, then shut. Words lost. Her mother spoke for him. "They're not just burning wood, they're burning proof." The father dropped to his knees in the dirt, hands gripping the earth. His shoulders shook, but he refused to weep. The girl stepped forward, stone clutched tight, voice sharp against the night. "They can burn barns, they can burn letters, but they can't burn me." Her mother whispered, "Hold on to that." The flames dimmed, but the smell lingered, smoke clinging to every breath. The girl stood in the ashes, swore to the painted face she would not let fire erase him. Her father stayed on his knees, beaten by a silence he could not break. The barn lay in black ruins, smoke still curling from its bones. The girl stood at the edge of the yard, her stone clutched tight, when she saw the figure on the road. A man walked slow, shoulders bent, dust trailing at his boots. His shirt stopped her breath. It was her brother's. She ran forward, heart hammering. "It's you!" Her mother shouted after her, "Wait!" But the girl didn't stop. She closed the distance, eyes locked on the shirt, the faded stitching she remembered from nights he wore it at the table. The man lifted his head. His eyes were hollow, sunk deep. His mouth twitched as if trying to shape a word. The girl's breath caught. "Brother?" His voice came low and broken. "I came back." She froze. The sound was wrong. The tone too flat, too thin. Her father reached them, chest heaving. He grabbed the man's arm. "Where did you get this?" The man looked down at the shirt. "It's mine." The girl shook her head. Your voice is wrong." He looked at her. The hollow eyes didn't blink. "You're not him," she said, voice sharp. Silence stretched. The town had gathered at the edge of the road, neighbors drawn by the smoke and the figure in the shirt. They watched, whispers moving like wind, but no one stepped close. The mother came forward, face pale. "Where have you been?" The man answered slow. "Out. Far." "Why come now?" the father demanded. The man's gaze shifted toward the burned barn. "Something called me back." The girl stepped closer, stone tight in her hand. "Say his name." The man's jaw worked. No sound came. Her voice cut sharper. "Say it." Still nothing. "You can't," she said. The mother whispered, "Please, just speak." The man turned his eyes to her, hollow but steady. "I can't." The girl shouted, "Because you're not him." The crowd stirred. A woman crossed herself. Another spat in the dirt. The sheriff stepped out from the group, badge catching light, his mouth twisted into something like a smile. "Look who found his way home." The father's fists clenched. "This isn't him." The sheriff tilted his head. "Looks enough like him. Wears his shirt, don't he? Maybe that's all folks need." The girl spat the words. "He's a lie." The sheriff's smile widened. "Or maybe he's proof nothing was wrong at all." The mother's hands shook. "Don't." "Why not?" the sheriff asked. "Doesn't this end it? The boy returns, the family made whole. No need for questions, no need for rocks or wells or barns." The girl's voice rose. This is another trick." The man in the shirt finally spoke again. "I didn't want to come." Her stomach twisted. "Who made you?" He didn't answer. The father gripped his arm harder. "Tell us." The man's eyes stared past him, blank. "They said wear it, walk home. That was all." Gasps rippled through the crowd. The sheriff's smile vanished. The girl pressed her stone forward. "Who told you?" The man's lips trembled. He whispered one word, almost lost in the smoke. "House." "The governor's house." The girl's voice cut clear. "You see? He's theirs. Not ours." The sheriff barked, "Enough." He stepped between them, hand on his gun. "You'll take him in. Call it done, or you'll regret it." The father stared at the man in the shirt, face torn between rage and grief. "You're not my son." The man didn't fight it. He lowered his head, silent. The girl whispered, fierce, "I told you, you're not him." The sheriff growled, "Say he is." The girl met his eyes. "I won't." The sheriff shoved her back, but she didn't fall. She raised the stone high, its painted face staring through the firelight. This is him, not that." The crowd shifted, some nodding, some looking away, too afraid to agree aloud. The mother pulled her daughter close, whispering in her ear, "Don't stop now." The girl's chest heaved, but her voice stayed sharp. "You can wear his shirt, but you'll never be him. You can bring strangers, but you can't bring him back." The sheriff's face darkened. "Careful," the girl shouted. "Truth doesn't fear you." The air went still. The crowd held its breath. The man in the shirt turned and walked away, no one stopping him. His shoulders bent deeper as he vanished into the dark. The father stood frozen, fists trembling. The mother held her daughter close, eyes shining with tears. The girl whispered to her stone so only it could hear, "You're still with me." The town stayed quiet. No one followed. No one spoke. They had seen enough. The girl worked through the night. Her hands were raw, streaked with dried blood and paint. But she didn't stop. One by one, she set the rocks into a line across the yard. Each bore a face, some blurred, some sharp, some broken. Her brother's was there among them, steady as the first, but she added more. Uncles, neighbors, names whispered over fences, names buried without markers. Every silence she had carried, she carved into paint and stone. Her mother stood at the porch, lantern low. "You'll draw them all." "Yes." "They'll come. I want them to." Her father sat in the shadows, head in his hands, saying nothing. By dawn, the line stretched across the dirt, faces staring blank, eyes black and unblinking. The girl wiped her hands on her dress, left smears of red and black together. She whispered, "Now they'll see." The sound of hooves came first, then wheels crunching gravel. The governor's carriage rolled into the yard, polished wood dark against the morning. The sheriff rode ahead, badge glinting sharp. They stopped at the fence. The governor stepped down, smile fixed. "What's all this?" The girl stood straight, dirt on her skin, paint across her arms. "Truth." The sheriff sneered. "It's madness." The girl pointed to the rocks. "These are names. You buried them. I brought them back." The governor walked slow along the line, eyes flicking to each painted face. His smile wavered. "Stones don't speak." "They don't need to," she said. "They're louder than you." The sheriff swung down from his horse, boots heavy. He marched up close, glaring down at her. "Say one more word and I'll silence you myself." The girl lifted her brother's rock high. "His name is still here. You can't burn it. You can't bury it. He's mine." The sheriff's hand went to his gun. Her mother gasped, stepping forward. "Don't." The governor raised his hand. "Wait." His eyes stayed on the girl, studying her. "You really think this makes a difference?" She stared back, unflinching. "It already has." The sheriff growled. "Number it ends now." The girl took a step closer, holding the rock steady. "Say his name." The sheriff's jaw clenched. "No." "Say it," she demanded. Her mother's voice shook behind her. "Please." The governor's smile faltered again. He spoke low, almost reluctant. "The boy's name was Daniel." The sheriff turned, shocked. "Don't." The governor cut him off, louder this time. "Daniel. That was his name." The crowd had gathered again along the road, neighbors drawn by smoke, by fire, by rumor. They heard it. They murmured it. "Daniel." The girl's chest shook, tears burning her eyes, but her voice came clear. "Daniel, my brother. You can't take him from me again." The rocks sat silent, but the line of faces seemed to grow heavier, as if pressing against the earth, refusing to vanish. The sheriff snarled, "Enough of this." He raised his gun, leveled it at the girl. Her mother screamed. "No." The girl didn't flinch. She held the rock higher, painted eyes facing him. "Shoot me, and every stone will speak louder than your badge." The sheriff's finger hovered on the trigger. His breath came hard, sweat on his brow. The crowd whispered, shifting, watching. The governor spoke again, firm. "Put it down." The sheriff's arm shook. Finally, he lowered it, jaw tight with rage. The girl turned to the crowd, her voice cutting the silence. "These are not just rocks. These are your sons, your brothers, your fathers, every name they tried to bury." The crowd murmured louder now, heads nodding, voices rising. The girl shouted sharp, unbroken, "Say them!" One by one, the neighbors spoke names, quiet at first, then stronger, names that had been hidden, stolen, erased. The sound swelled until it drowned the sheriff's curses, until it cut through the governor's silence. The girl pressed her stone to her chest. "Daniel," she whispered. Her mother echoed it, voice breaking. "Daniel." The father finally raised his head, tears streaking his face. "Daniel." The sheriff turned, furious, but the weight of the names pressed against him, louder than his threats. He mounted his horse, face dark, and rode hard away. The governor lingered, his smile gone, his face pale. He looked once more at the line of rocks, at the girl standing unshaken before them. Then he climbed into his carriage and left without a word. The crowd thinned, drifting back to their homes, but the names stayed in the air, echoing against the morning light. The girl stood alone before her painted stones, her brother's face at the center. She whispered one last vow. "You'll never be gone, not while I breathe." The rocks stared back, still and heavy, louder than guns, louder than silence.